Hi, I'm the AI-generated digital clone of Derek. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about something bigger than entertainment. In 28 days, IShowSpeed visited around 20 African countries. No documentary crew, no script, no official cultural briefing, just a streamer, a camera, and chaos. And somehow that chaotic tour did more to challenge Western stereotypes about Africa than decades of polished tourism campaigns. But it also exposed something uncomfortable. It held up a mirror to the continent, and what we saw matters for creators, governments, and anyone building Africa's future. Let's break it down. First, the hut shock. A lot of people forget this tour wasn't really for Africans. Yes, Africans showed up in huge numbers, streets were packed, airports looked like concerts, but the audience whose mindset truly shifted was outside the continent. The diaspora, America, Europe. For many people, their mental image of Africa is still stuck in old charity adverts, the ones with sad music and a crisis narrative. Then Speed walks into a modern mall in Nairobi or Lagos and genuinely reacts like, this is crazy. And here's the strange part. His ignorance became his superpower because when a diplomat says Africa is modern, people assume it's PR. But when someone with zero filter reacts in real time, people believe it. That's why the tour worked. Not because it was polished, because it was honest. Second, the validation trap. Now we need to talk about us. Look at the crowds that followed him across the continent. Yes, they're fans, but there's something deeper too, a hunger to be seen, to have someone from the global stage acknowledge that our cities are real, our lives are real, and that we matter to the algorithm. After every stop, the same argument played out online. We don't need Western validation versus finally the world sees us. Both sides have a point, but here's the uncomfortable truth. We turned a streamer into a savior, not because he asked for it, because the continent is starved for global cultural equity, a seat at the table, and basic recognition beyond crisis headlines. Speed didn't create that hunger, he just walked into it, and the world saw how deep it goes. Third, the infrastructure boss level. This part matters if you're a creator. Speed streamed in high quality, almost no buffering, even in crowds. That's not magic, that's infrastructure and money. Enterprise grade setup, a team making sure the connection doesn't drop. Meanwhile, local creators are watching on 3G, counting megabytes, praying their data bundle lasts. Here's the brutal reality. Speed proved the world will watch African content, not out of pity, as real entertainment. But until upload speeds in Lagos match upload speeds in London, and data costs in Accra match data costs in Atlanta, the next viral African creator will be fighting a different war. You can copy the energy, but can you pay the data bill? Fourth, authentic versus curated. Almost every country made the same mistake. Handlers, brands, and officials tried to control the narrative. They took him to nice places, VIP sections, bottle service, curated luxury, the polished version. And every time, the content got weaker, because the viral moments weren't the brochure. They were the streets, the humor, the chaos that somehow works, the sand art, the unexpected moments. Africa's soft power is not in mimicking Miami. It's in being Africa. Speed didn't want the brochure, he wanted the heat. And every time someone tried to give him the brochure, the magic died. So, what now? Speed is gone. The circus moved on. The algorithms will move on too. So, what do we do with what just happened? For governments, stop spending millions on glossy ads nobody watches. Fix the basics. E-visa websites that don't crash, simple, reliable tourism infrastructure, because when millions of people are ready to click apply and your system fails, you're losing money in real time. For creators, Speed just handed you proof of concept. He proved the world will watch African stories when they're authentic. Now your job is to deliver consistently, and you don't need his budget. You need a system. Use AI tools to multiply your output, caption instantly, translate for global reach, turn long videos into short clips, repurpose across platforms. The tools are cheap, the leverage is real, the biggest barrier is starting. For industries and decision makers, treat creators like exporters, because that's what they are. They export culture, they import currency, they generate tourism interest and soft power that no government campaign can buy. So support them like an industry. Infrastructure support, incentives, Access. Stop treating content creation as a hobby. Speed just proved it's an economic engine. Let me land this. The Speed Does Africa tour wasn't really about speed. It was a stress test. For 28 days, the world's attention was pointed at Africa. Cameras running, algorithms watching, and we learned something. The culture is ready, the energy is ready, the stories are ready, the world will tune in. But the infrastructure is still buffering. So the question isn't whether people will watch. Speed proved they will. The question is, what do we show them next? If you enjoyed this breakdown, like and subscribe, turn on notifications, and more importantly, leave a comment. What was your favorite moment from the tour? And do you think this helped or hurt Africa's image? If you got value from this breakdown, like and subscribe, turn on notifications, and more importantly, leave a comment. What do you think Africa should do next to convert viral attention into real opportunity?